Good morning, welcome Sham Stars. Today, in continuation of previous chapter, we are going to learn about patterns of biodiversity and the importance of species diversity to the ecosystem. As we know in the previous video, diversity can be defined as the occurrence of different types of genes, gene pools, species, habitats, and ecosystem in a given region. Biodiversity is not uniform throughout the world because it is affected by latitudinal gradients and species area relationships. So, patterns of biodiversity, latitudinal gradients, and species area relationships. Latitudinal gradients demonstrate the decrease in species diversity as we move away from the equator towards the pole, which is clearly shown in this figure. Ecologists are not certain why the latitudinal gradient exists, but one prevalent idea is that tropical climates encourage specialist species that can pack tightly in a community. Tropics latitudinal range of 23.5 degree north to 23.5 degrees south harbor more species than temperate or polar areas. Studies indicate that the tropical areas have more biodiversity. Now let's see what are the causes of latitudinal gradients. They are climatic stability, high plant productivity, no glaciation, more specialized habitats species coexistence, diverse habitats increase species diversity and evenness. Human disturbance can increase habitat diversity which leads to species diversity as well. Alexander von Humboldt, a German naturalist and geographer, observed that within a region, species richness increased with increasing explored area, but up to a limit. The relation between species richness and area for a wide variety of taxa, angiosperm, birds, bats, freshwater fishes, turns out to be a rectangular hyperbola. This graph is showing species area relationship. On a logarithm scale, the relationship is a straight line, where log S is equal to log C plus Z log A. S stands for species richness, A for area, C is equal to Y, that is intercept, and Z shows slope of the line, that is regression coefficient. The value of Z lies in the range of 0.1 to 0.2 regardless of taxonomic group or the region. If we analyze the species area relationship among very large areas like entire continents, the slope of the line will be much steeper, that is Z values in the range of 0.6 to 1.2. For example, for fruit-eating birds and mammals in the tropical forest of different continents, the slope is found to be 1 to 1.5. For many decades, ecologists believed that communities with more species generally tend to be more stable than those with less species. So let's talk about the importance of species diversity to the ecosystem. What exactly is stability for a biological community? A stable community should not show too much variation in productivity from year to year. It must be either resistant or resilient to occasional disturbances, natural or man-made, and it must also be resistant to invasions by alien species. We don't know how these attributes are linked to species richness in a community, but David Tillman's long-term ecosystem experiments using outdoor plots provide some tentative answers. Tillman found that plots with some more species showed less year-to-year variation in total biomass. He also showed that in his experiments, increased diversity contributed to higher productivity. Another hypothesis given by Paul and Rich to understand the importance of species in the ecosystem. According to his hypothesis, the ecosystem to be an airplane and the species to be the rivets joining all parts together. If every passenger pops a rivet to take home, it may not affect the flight safety initially. But with time, as more and more rivets are removed, the plane becomes dangerously weak. Loss of rivet on the wings is a more serious threat to flight safety than loss of a few rivets on the seats or windows of the plane. So, this was the hypothesis given by the Paul to explain the importance of a species in the ecosystem. So, children, this is all about the importance of a species, diversity in the ecosystem, and the patterns of biodiversity.